advantages of cooking with a microphone. You might know that. My wife says I'm so loud, I don't need to cook with a microphone. What is that noise? Is that me? Was that me pounding? There. Now I know, right?
There's your heartbeat. We know you're alive.
Well, I have one of those real irregular ones. I really do. I used to be a pilot, and every time I'd go for my physical, they'd fail me. I have to go back and prove to them that I was born with an irregular. I think this is better. It'll steam off a minute. When it gets cool, y'all come and welcome any and all that you want, okay? We're not trying to not give it away. We only have little containers, but we'll help you dip them out. And we also have, for the kind of heart, we have toothpicks. You're not supposed to touch your food or you'll die. So don't touch it. The inspector will get me in trouble. Here, let's try to do that. I've been able to tell you. I'm doing good. Any questions? I'm going to tell you. Yes, ma'am.
Will you tell us the difference with your diet that made you lose 35 pounds? What you were eating as a vegetarian, what you're not eating now that made you lose the weight?
Yes, and it's very simple. It really wasn't a diet. I'm not making this up. It was a change of lifestyle. I did quit eating anything white for real. Anything that looked white except cauliflower. I don't eat it, and I still don't. And again, that's why I'm saying it's a life change. It's not just a diet. I did go to I kind of did an Atkins, believe it or not. Going from a vegan almost to an Atkins diet. It's a pretty big move, but it worked for me. Now my wife also went on a diet. She's about, I don't think she's been good. She weighs 112. She weighed 135 or 138. She had to go on kind of a vegetarian diet. She was very careful. It didn't work for me. So I think that, and maybe I should do this, every one of us is totally different. They took babies that were newborn, and I won't tell you how, but I will tell you, they did fecal studies and intestinal studies for the first 3 years, and they started out with 0, and they watched these babies progress, and depending on where they were in the world, who fed them, what they did, by the end of that 3rd year, all of them's body makeup was so dissimilar that there's no way you could separate them out. Our bodies are very individual. What you can eat and get along with, I can't. The Eskimos live on fat. Probably would kill us, but they've been doing it for generations. It's what's normal for them. Coconut oil, the Polynesians, which is one of the healthiest people that Dr. Price found, was living on coconut oil. And the very thing they said was going to kill us was the staple of their diet. So it's a very different. Do this. Try to think up this way. There's cypress trees. Y'all are from here. There's cypress trees that grow along the Guadalupe River. Is the same genus and the same species as the cypress tree that goes to the Okefenokee Swamp where I was born in Georgia. And if you take that Okefenokee Swamp cypress and bring it here, it'll die. If you take our cypress with the same genus and the same species and take it to Georgia, it'll die. We are all, from our historic backgrounds, whether we're European or we're Indian or whatever we are, in combination with our surroundings and what we make us what we are. Is that weird? Think about it. They just came up with a new figure I found absolutely fascinating. Nobody will know these numbers probably. Our body, an average American human, doesn't have to be in America, is 10 to the 13th cells. A 10 with 13 zeros behind it is how many cells we have in our body. Guess what's there? 10 to 14 bacteria and microbes. We are really a platform for microbes to live on. There's 10 times more bacteria in your body than there are living cells that you are a part of. Now, does that put a different perspective on how you work, how your body works? And remember, my show started out as an organic gardening show. Ironically, our soils that we work with are almost the same balance. About 10 times more microbes than there is soil. And then we wonder why when we use synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, when we kill our soil, we wonder why it won't grow things. We're killing the life that makes it work. That's what we do to our bodies if we abuse it. We're a living kind of a world within ourselves. Everything's going on. Pretend you're a life support system for a microbe. You'll act very different. You getting these done? Good. Give everybody some meat. I know, yeah, I got way a lot of water, y'all. I overdid it a little bit. Oh, hurting. Remember, those vegetables really took them out. Anything else? I kind of wandered around here because we don't want to do it. Yes, sir.
How do you clean stainless steel? I have stainless steel.
Yes, sir.
Stuff films on it. I can't get it off. How do you clean stainless steel?
You can get vinegar and soda and boil it in it. That'll help clean it. Okay? You can also, I do use scrubbies. I don't use metal ones. I use those little green scrubby things. And I heat it with either baking soda or vinegar or whatever I've got. And then I meticulously, I mean, for one thing, you have to see my grill when you come. I don't care if it's got a little brown on it. I call that age spot. It's just part of using it. And your skillets aren't any good when they start building up. Yes, ma'am.
What about rust? What if we have rust on the cast iron? Can we still use
Well,
it?
this gives you a real beneficial way for me to give you an answer. You want to get the rust off your, soak it in Coca-Cola. Now, does that tell you want to drink a Coke? Coca-Cola has a pH of 2.3. It's just about a half a point above vinegar. So it'll just eat it out. And if it gets worse, you can put vinegars and some of the stronger. Matter of fact, they make this, what it's called? The stuff you clean your coffee pot out with. Every so many months you boil it through, and it works very well to remove rust. Now in the old days, you know what they did with it? They greased it up, threw it in the fire. They burn it off, clean it up, and reuse it. You can save a really rusty piece. I have some older ones at home. I have wee skillet. My mom cooked our food on when I was born. Griswold is how we did it. And it still actually is better than some of the new ones. So if you find one, get it. Any questions? We're going to have some little free food up here. Have all you want. I want you, those that are into meat, at least to taste this, because it's a very different approach to making meat than you can imagine. Yes?
Do you use just the covered, or do you use the frying pans that
For?
are cast for cooking?
I use a lot of frying pans. Now, I don't fry it. I fry, but I fry very low temp. So you'll find most of the time. My big thing is really, I guess because I used to feed more people, I like to cook in volume and then save it. I don't know if y'all believe me, but I don't think spaghetti's good when it's been heated about 3 times. It just gets better. Gravies are the same way. I do a thing called coq au vin. You all know what coq au vin is? It's a chicken that's too damn old to eat, so you soak it in wine for 3 or 4 days, and then you cook it. Well, it's not good that you've warmed it and cooked it 2 or 3 times. So I always think it's not good for you. I mentioned that I age my meat. Do you all understand what aged meat is? I take this deer and I muscle it out and I wrap it in white towels. I told you I use towels. I keep them down and I lay them in a refrigerator at 34 to 35 degrees for 3 weeks or a month before I freeze them. The inspector is going to think I'm nuts. Very good for you, very healthy for you, good and active bacteria, and you wouldn't believe, can you not cut my steaks with a fork? You can cut my deer steaks with a fork. You'll have to have a knife. It's very, very good. Thank you all. I'll be here a while. Come eat with us. Oh, she's going to be on next. No. Now tell us what you're going to do. No, just tell her. Yeah, no, she's a cook. How are you doing? Oh yeah, don't take it out. Order them, but you gotta be careful because the steak doesn't like it out.
He's at a lecture. Lucky for my daughter, she won't eat most of the other stuff. I just want to eat on my right side.